Live.
Oh,
Welcome everybody to B&T Sports Talk Show. This is T here. As you know, B is a big Warriors fan, and so what you saw there, folks, was just him watching the game and enjoying watching the Warriors play. That's awesome. All right.
what you saw, what you heard, it doesn't matter. That came flying out. Sorry, y'all. This is frustration.
All right.
Anyways,
Well, another Sunday is upon us. Another evening after a long week of sports. Happy to be with everyone. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their Sunday. Again, if this is your first time listening to us, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. Let some folks know if you appreciate our banter. Let some folks know around you that you think would appreciate it as well. Let them know where we are. We appreciate everyone joining. So let's hop into it. I'll start with B, man. You okay over there?
yeah, I'm good. Kind of, not really, but it's. We'll talk about this team in a little bit here, but this is just you got to hit your playoffs right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
And
can't be blowing leads.
And that is the perfect segue into what we are going to discuss, which is the NBA playoffs are upon us. As everybody knows, once Easter hits, it's playoff time. That's how it is every single year. So here we are. We're going down the stretch of the last few games of the NBA season. So the last few games are all of next week, pretty much through Sunday.
Yeah.
And nothing's decided, folks. There's still a lot of positions up in the air. And specifically for us, because we have two teams who have kind of messed around all year. And now, here we are with 5 or 6 or however many games left to go. Both the Warriors and the Lakers are trying to make a push. So I'm going to start with just some things around the league within the NBA before we jump into our teams, because I know we're going to take a good amount of time talking about the Warriors and the Lakers, especially seeing as how the Warriors have given up a little bit of their lead going into the half here against the Denver Nuggets. Currently, it's 61-58. Golden State still has a 3-point lead. So I'll start with the Portland Trailblazers. I wanted to discuss this. They shut down Dame Lillard a week ago, and it still seemed like they had some opportunity to possibly make some noise. They are now officially eliminated from the playoffs, however. And, there's something about this team that is just not working out. I think Dame's been in the league for a good 9 years 8 to 9 years at this point, I think, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they just haven't been able to get over the hump. They've had some good moments, but ultimately, the past 2 years, most of the league has been staring at the Portland Trailblazers, wondering when are we going to be able to get our hands on Dame Lillard. Because it's really looking like that organization is not capable of putting a good team around Dame in order for them to at least be on the top half of the West. Especially in this season when there was no clear present, number one for most of the season. The Nuggets have been pretty darn good. The Pelicans started off as being the top team for a while, the first quarter of the season. And things have shifted, but the Trailblazers have not been able to take advantage of that. So I'm going to ask you some questions, then I'll kind of piggyback off of that. But B, what do you think about the Trailblazers and this decision to shut Dame down, and then follow that up with what are they planning to do? What do you think they're planning to do after this season?
Who knows? They obviously don't want to build around Damian Lillard because they're not asking for his opinion. We all know when it comes to superstars that you're going to ask your superstar what do we need to do to get there. The fact that they shut him down, he didn't even ask for that. Damian Lillard's not the guy to sit there and go, I don't want to play for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Like, he's really voiced how much he loves Portland. And how committed he is to that process. And the closest they have ever come was in 2019 when they played the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals and just got blown out the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But from there, they never carried that success on on building to get to the finals. When you're one step away from making it to the NBA finals, you want to carry that momentum, and Portland never did that. Then you go off and trade C.J. McCollum, his backcourt mate.
Yeah.
You really don't get much for that trade either way, and then you're not building around Damian to bring another superstar in. He's the only superstar in Portland right now.
Right.
And to be honest with you, in this day and age, it takes more than one superstar to win you a title. So there's something fishy going on. Is Damian Lillard really wanting out? Because he went on a show not too long ago and he talked about, how he's not in it for the rings and this is what he loves to do. Trust me, if you were a professional athlete, wouldn't you want to chase a ring, T?
Yeah, well, I mean, you're there to compete. You're not there to just play. You're there to compete, and the prize is the NBA championship. That's what everybody should be pointing to. And of course, there are teams that are not in a position to do that because they're young or, they just don't have that success. They're in a rebuild mode, like the Jazz.
But they just suck.
Exactly, or they're terrible, or heaven forbid, they're the Brooklyn Nets. So it's just. He's kind of in this NBA purgatory where they've been trying to add these players around him to improve the roster, and it's just not working. And
no.
I don't know what the plan is, but in my book, they recently named Joe Cronin. He's the general manager for the Trail Blazers currently, but was an interim previously. So that just happened last year. I'm almost thinking if they're at a point to where it won't be Damian Lillard's decision that he leaves. I think maybe it gets to a point to where the Portland Trailblazers themselves go, you know what, it was nice, but we're gonna trade you, because I think they've got to blow it up. They already traded C.J. McCollum, who was another cornerstone on that team, which was consistently good. By the way, it was a consistently good team. Now they never were able to get past the Golden State Warriors, but nobody else was either. So now I think at this point, I think whether Dame wants to be there or not, he may not be the one making that choice. I think the Portland Trailblazers as an organization are ultimately going to decide that this has not worked. This happened with Brandon Roy. This happened with, why can't I think?
Don't say Greg Oden.
No, not Greg. Greg Oden didn't even play, man. This happened with, I can't think of his name. When I think of it, I'll get it back. But they've had some good players that have come across, and they just haven't been able to build around them. So I think that's nice that Dame is saying that, but ultimately I think they blow it up. And they go get as many draft picks as they can, just like Utah. Figure something else out.
Well, yeah, and Utah they didn't have too bad of a season. They were messing around a little too much, and almost they almost found themselves in a playoff spot when that wasn't Danny Ainge's idea all along. Those were strictly to rebuild and get high draft picks. Next thing you know, they're within that. It just didn't happen with Portland here. I think it's Dame's time to go. Like. It doesn't hurt another player to go explore. His legacy in Portland will be cemented. He's going to go down as one of their best players in that franchise's history here.
Right.
But don't sit there and say you're doing it just because you love the game. There's guys in that league playing for the love of the game, but they're also playing to chase what is very exclusive, which is a championship. You can't sit there and tell me you're waking up and going, you know what, I'll take a participation season and not win a championship.
Right.
Though that's what those comments meant to me was he's just doing it because he loves the game. Well, dude, you've got a lot to play for still. You're nowhere near retiring right now.
Right.
So, and just to catch up, he's been in the league for 12 years now.
Yeah, so and there it is. We got Drunk chiming in. What's up, Drunk? How you doing, man?
What's up, Drunk?
So Dame isn't a Portland savior. He's a Portland curse. I don't know about that. They've had good players come through there.
Those are some bold words.
I
think
Portland is the curse. Ever since they traded Clyde Drexler. How about that? I mean, I don't think the Trailblazers have been good since Bill Walton. They won the championship once.
I would say this: the closest the Portland Trailblazers have been to anything prior to 2019 were the teams of Rasheed Wallace,
Yeah,
Scottie Pippen, like that.
yeah,
The what do they call them,
yeah,
the jail Blazers. That's what they were
yeah.
calling it at
Damian
the time.
Stoudemire. Yeah,
Yes,
they had a nice little squad. I remember that squad very well because they played my Lakers in the Western Conference Finals way back when. So yeah, that was a nice team.
that was a
Steve
very good
Smith,
team.
another old
Yep.
guy that was on there. So yeah, and that was a nice squad. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like you said, B, I think it's time to blow it up, man. I'm right there with you. I don't think Dame should look at Kevin. He should give Kevin Garnett a call, ask him about that.
Drunk also says being in the middle of the draft every single year is a curse. Shout out to Dane.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you. That's what happens when you make the playoffs every year. I mean, they were a winning
Yeah.
team. They just never were at the top, man. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, I'm.
But speaking of a team that doesn't know what they're doing, who all thought that they were going to be just winners by making the first splash in free or in the trade deadline, were the Dallas Mavericks, who are now one game away from not even being able to participate in the play-in tournament. Whole thing about Kyrie Irving coming to join them and just you know resurrecting, getting Luca over the top, has all it's done is just made their season a lot worse for them. And it's almost like they should even never done the damn trade because Dallas was in, they were above the playing tournament, but when they got Kyrie, and now they're just falling off the face of this earth here. So, T, let me ask you this because we all know how much you and I love to just harp on Kyrie and KD. Kyrie's not even playing right now. Do you think it's even worth his return for the rest of the year with 4 games left?
No, I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, here's the thing. Therefore, it's I had to look this up. They're 4-13 since since they brought him in. Okay,
Damn, drunk. Sorry.
so it's not yeah. It's bad. It's really bad, and it's unfortunate because they thought by adding Kyrie to Luca that it would somehow create some type of super offensive team, but really all it did was cause confusion offensively. You got two guys that do a lot of ball handling. Only one of them can pass, and then it's the end of the season, so it's hard to get guys to work together after an entire training camp and a whole more than half a season behind them, and then try to just force them together to make it work. And on top of that, Kyrie is missing every other game. So I mean, it's just been a complete disaster for Mark Cuban. He bought the wrong bill of goods in the Shark Tank this time. It just did what this wasn't it. This wasn't the trade, and all what they gave up, they're just gonna end up losing because I don't think that I'm not sure if Kyrie was gonna re-sign with the Mavs. Unless nobody else wants him. Now, if every other team says I'm out on Kyrie, I'm good, then he may end up going back to the Mavericks. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't think there's a team in dire need of Kyrie because he wasn't really sought out after during the trade
No, he
deadline.
wasn't.
So
No.
that screams a lot of attention there. The you got two ball handlers. You're asking Luca to play off the ball. That's not Luca's game.
Yeah.
That's Luca's team. I just think this. You know what that trade reminded me of is when you had Steph Curry and Monte Ellis in the backcourt together.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. You know what I'm saying? You can't have two ball handlers trying to figure this out, and especially at a pivotal position where it requires only one ball handler. Kyrie or Luka's never played off the ball, so why would you ask him to do it now?
Exactly.
So this is his team that he's coming to. So, it should have been a little more of an adaptive thing for Kyrie. Instead, it just turned into literally a running disaster there. So
yeah, that's exactly what it is, and it's unfortunate for them and the team. I'm gonna get into one more thing about this, but let's get caught up, man. Drunk's going crazy. Let me make sure I figure out what he says. So Drunk, I'm a diehard Blazers fan. That is unfortunate. Dame holding this back from a top 5 pick. Yeah, drunk. That's what we said earlier. I think the organization will eventually just blow it up. Then just sell all the pieces, trade Jeremy Grant, get as many draft picks as they possibly can, get your young guys out there. Anthony Simons, who's a good, nice young player. There's another gentleman, I can't think of the kid's name, but they have some good young talent there. So just start over. Um,
You know what? If there was any time to tank a season, this year would have been it with Wemba coming down the pipeline.
yeah,
It's a once in a generation talent that you have to take a risk on. And look at the Spurs, absolutely tanking. The Utah Jazz were supposed to tank, and now they were
I don't know
finding
what they're
themselves in the
doing.
playoff hunt.
Yeah, they're stupid.
OKC was not supposed to be this good, and now they're in the playing tournament right now. So this year would have been perfect to blow any team up as far as talent goes to compete for that for Wemba. I'm not trying to pronounce the rest of his name because everything is complicated.
I
So
don't know
unless
either.
somebody else can,
So
um,
drunk in with. I literally just watched Mavs versus Hawks. Jason Kidd should be taken out back and put down. I don't know. I guess you could blame Jason Kidd. I guess, man. I mean, they
well, look
actually
at his
weren't
track
that
record.
they weren't that bad before the trade deadline. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they weren't a bad team. It's just that the decision, and it wasn't Jason Kidd's decision to make the trade, although I'm sure he had some influence. But I just think it was just a desperate move that didn't work out. The
Jason Kidd called the situation dog shit. You hear that?
Yeah, I'm sure it is
But
because
he's not wrong.
this is what
Not
every
wrong.
every team deals with Kyrie is you got a guy that's in and out of the lineup that's supposed to be leading your team, and that just ain't gonna work. The Mavs have zero. Let's go win about them. Yeah, because they know their season's over. There's only like 5 games left, and they've been sliding downhill for the past month and a half.
Yep,
Mark Cuban
absolutely.
pulled another Rondo. Yeah, I guess there wasn't enough time for Kyrie to get in any trouble with Jason Kidd the way Rondo did with Carlisle. But if only we would have had one more month, we might have got it. And then last from drunk, Kyrie will sign with the Magic before he goes back to the Mavs. The Magic
Hey,
don't want him.
drunk, are you calling that? I'll put that down as a bold prediction for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the
Let me know
Magic
if
are
you're
like,
calling that.
eh.
Hold on, I gotta find a pen. I don't have sticky notes, so I'm gonna write it down just in case he says yes.
So the other question is,
Shit.
what do you do if you're
What's up?
What do you do if you're Luca? I mean, that's the other question.
Pissed
Uh,
off out of my mind that they cost him his season this year.
I mean, Lucas single handedly willed this team to the playoffs a couple of times and actually made some noise once or twice as well.
But not
So
only that, but they were just in the Western Conference
yeah,
Finals. That doesn't make sense. And now you're not even in the playing tournament.
I thought the
Shit, at least the
Mavs
Warriors are gonna find themselves in it. Oh, Drunk says bold prediction for me.
will
You got
do,
it, Drunk. I'm putting it down right now.
will do.
I'm put I'm putting it on top of my fast track bill right now.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting on. I'm hoping that the best possible scenario is for the Mavs is that they somehow get rid of Kyrie and turn it into a sign and trade to get something back for him because this experiment and losing all your crap, losing assets to get him to come, and then and now you don't have anything,
Hey,
and now you're left
in all
holding the bag. It's kind of dumb.
in question for us. Oh, Drunk with a question for
Oh,
us.
perfect.
Dang, we never had a question asked to us.
I know.
I'll start with you, T. As a team leader, how much is Luca the actual problem?
Well, here's the thing:
That's a good question.
when so much of your offense is based on one player, we're talking about assist and scoring points. He can't be the problem because you can remove him from your team. And I know sometimes when we see these overbearing players, LeBron James is a great example of that. As a Laker fan, the moment LeBron got here, a lot of Laker fans were like, "Oh well, he's gonna sog everything. He's gonna slow everything down. Guys aren't gonna be able to run. It's gonna be a situation where all the entire offense is centered around one guy, and that can take away from other guys being better." But I'm sorry, without Luca, without Luca, the Mavs are a lottery team.
Yeah.
Literally. So no, I don't. Luca is not the problem. Luca is the only reason that the Mavs are competing. I don't see that any of those other players are going to carry them. Jalen Brunson was a great player, but the only thing wrong with the Jalen Brunson situation is that the Mavs didn't want to pay him. Oddly enough, now that even though they're trading for Kyrie, but I don't see Luca being the problem. Now there can be some questions about him as a leader. But in the scheme of things, I don't, I don't,
I
I don't,
still
I
think
don't need great. I
you
don't
gotta
need.
build around him.
Yeah, I don't need great leaders if we're in the lottery, man. Like, I mean, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, oh, I got a great leader, but how many games did you win? Ultimately, it's about
I'm
winning.
if there was a consistent winning basis on that team and they didn't go nowhere, I'd say you probably look at Luka as being the problem. But there's no consistency in it, in quite honesty. And Luka does a lot for the Mavs. You know, outside of the crying and the complaining that he does 90% of the time on the court, there's a lot of good that he does. It's just when you look at that team, he really doesn't have anyone to trust on to take over, including Kyrie. So I see a lot of it. It's not on Luka just yet. If they build around him and it ends up being, then yeah, I'd say definitely here. Um, Drunk goes exchanging Carlisle for Kid is like trading Derrick Henry for Jarek McKinnon.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean,
Drunk got the references today, man. I love it.
Carlisle wasn't a big Luca fan. You know what I mean? And so Mark Cuban had to make a choice. You either pick the coach, you pick the player, and you got to pick the player.
Absolutely. We'll talk about this for just a little bit here. The CBA was just signed, 7 year, a new 7 year deal here. But I mean, the bottom line of this deal, basically, and we talked about it before the show, it's going to be hard to create super teams now, is what it
Right.
is,
Yeah.
and paying multiple players multiple max deals. Because when you look at it, the Warriors had two max contracts to give out this past year.
Right.
I'll use them as an example, and they handed it out to Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole. Now, from the understanding, this collective bargaining agreement will only allow one max contract to be given out, and
Yeah.
that's going to suck because the Warriors have Clay and Draymond's contract to really think about. So someone's getting the short end of the stick with
Well,
this new CBA deal.
yeah, and the other thing is they're taking away the taxpayer mid level exception. So when you're
Yeah,
looking to fill out your roster, that if you're above the cap and you're a cap offender, you're not going to be able to do that. You can't utilize cash in trades. That's being taken away. And then you can't move first round draft pick. It says first round picks in drafts that are further out, so 7 years away. So they're really shrinking it down to limit the resources available to teams that are over the cap. So for teams like the
and the
Warriors,
Warriors are habitual
they
taxpayers.
are
They
yes,
don't. There is no budget in that salary cap for them. They don't care. They can be negative $40 million and sign. They'll find a way to get a check not to
yeah.
bounce.
You know what's funny is the Lakers are like that too, but the Lakers are fortunate because they had such a bad team. They had such a young team before LeBron came that they haven't really been in the taxpayer above the limit outside of the past two or 3 years, I believe. Um, the other thing is, and this is interesting too, is you're gonna there's eligibility now for NBA awards. So
Yeah,
MVP, you have to play at least 65 games. So I think that's an interesting one. I feel like I don't know how much of a deal that makes, to be honest with you, because most of the guys that have been competing for MVP have been playing most of the season. You talk
yeah.
about Giannis, Embiid, Jokic. These are the guys that have been in the conversation the past, I want to say, 2 to 3 years. And outside of maybe Embiid one season, most of them have been available for more than 65 games. Now, what this does send a message is that Kawhi Leonard, you know, sometimes in some circumstances, LeBron James, who has missed a fair amount of games the past 2 years, some of those guys may not be considered. It's almost like they're trying to kind of backhandedly punish load management a little bit. So
Yep.
Kawhi, hold your championship close at night, sleep with it, give it a big kiss because that's it, my friend. That's all the awards you're going to receive. The
Oh, wait, hold on. Drunk says when Mikhail Bridges wins the MVP, remember this CBA conversation.
Mikal Bridges. Oh
Yep,
man,
Drunk, you getting put down for that one.
he ain't
You
winning
going down
nothing.
on that one
Mikal
there.
Bridges. We'll see.
I'm putting you down. Way early MVP prediction for
Mikal
next year, Mikhail Bridges.
Bridges. Wow. Man, you gotta be kidding me with that, man. Come on now. Mikal Bridges.
Hey man, it's a bold prediction. That's what it's about. That's what it's
The guy
about.
you mean when you got Tatum playing in pretty much the same position? I mean, come on, man. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Embiid. Here come Mikal Bridges up the rear. Oh,
I'm
man.
gonna put my bill away before you guys see it.
Oh man. All right, and then our last thing I'll cover is in-season tournaments.
That's so stupid.
Uh,
That's stupid. You got players
I
who
don't
don't even
know.
want to play back to backs, and then they want to throw an in season tournament into this mix. Dude, kick that idea to the
Oh
side, man.
man.
That's terrible. That's like the NFL putting a Super Bowl midway through the season and call it half a bowl. You know,
Half
it's
bowl.
terrible. Half bowl. That's what it is.
The literal Soup Bowl. SOUP. Yeah, the Soup Bowl. Oh
Dude,
my
they gotta
god.
kick that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the draw is to this. I don't see what the issue is. It sounds like they're going to give away some cash and prizes, but who cares?
Yeah,
Are
Mikal
they
Bridges hasn't missed a game since high school.
exactly? Are they? My question would be: are they getting rid of the All-Star game in place of this? Like, I don't understand what the What
I
are
don't
we
get
doing?
it either.
So I don't get it.
Dude,
Sounds
the
stupid.
NBA almost gave their players 2 weeks off.
Yeah,
All Star break.
yeah,
It was 10 days. Might as
yeah,
well have been 2 weeks.
yeah.
Dude, it's ridiculous, man. So yeah, kick the tournament. That's a dumbass idea. I'm sorry, man. Just get rid of that. Adam Silver's done some great things. This is his first real bad idea right here in season tournament. Stop it.
Yeah,
Stop it.
yeah. Drunk says it's only fire if they invite overseas teams. Yeah, yeah. I that might be
But that's
nice,
what the
but
FIBA tournament is.
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. I don't know, man.
What? Yeah,
I
garbage.
don't think you're going to get a whole lot of players to participate in that just because of the grind of the regular season.
Yeah, like I said, you could barely get them to participate in regular games. I mean, we're
Ex-
struggling. They're struggling to put superstars on Sunday night showcase games, and now here we are with an in-season tournament. Like, yeah, okay. We can already count about 30% of the league. 40% of the league will not be participating in an in-season tournament.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't even get guys to get in the dunk contest. Seriously. Oh my gosh. Well, moving on. Now let's get into our teams who are in desperate need of some wins this next week in order to make the playoffs, and that's the Warriors and the.
Hold on. That's your team in desperate wins.
Wait. Hold on. How many losses? How many losses do you
good.
guys have?
Look,
How many
like
losses
said,
do you guys have?
We are fine. We are good, but we are fine.
No. How many losses do you have? Here, I'll look it up for you. I'm not gonna wait for you. You've got 30.
Look
You've
it up.
got 37 losses. The Lakers have 38 losses. The Clippers have 38 losses. Okay.
What's your point?
The point, and then the New Orleans Pelicans also have 38. You are going to be on the road 3 of the next 4 games. You've got to win all of those games. If you lose 2 games, you will be a 8th seed.
Yeah, but they'll still be in the tournament. They'll still be playing a way to get in. All I'm saying is your Lakers don't have room to lose. The Lakers cannot afford two losses. The Warriors can.
Yeah.
The Warriors can afford a 2-game losing streak. But yes, they need to go 3-1. They got to go 4-0 for that comfortable matter. I'll take 3-1 if they want to lose 1 game. Tonight would be the night.
Well, they want to win, man.
But I don't want it to happen.
Yeah, because you're also playing Sacramento on the road. You're playing a couple other. It's those road games that concern me for the Warriors.
Well, hold on. You just talked about how many points did Sacramento give up to San Antonio?
Oh, they gave up a lot. That's
what I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's not them giving up points. It's the fact that the Warriors don't win on the road. That's the problem. I mean, that's been the overwhelming issue. Like you're at Denver tonight. You got Oklahoma City back at home, who's still competing.
Yep.
And then you got Sacramento Friday in Sac, and then Portland. Who cares anymore? Portland. Then you play Portland in Portland.
They made that statement clear.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Portland beat the Timberwolves today by 2 points. So you can't sleep on them.
They got nothing to play for.
The Timberwolves do have something to play for.
But all I'm saying, look, the difference is the Kings are in the Kings aren't going from the second to the third. They've got the third seed. I don't think there's going to be much of a
Memphis is
change there.
dropping games, bro.
Both teams are on a one-game losing streak, so I don't know about
Well, my
dropping
point is
games.
Memphis is not playing at a very high level at this moment, and it could
Nah,
be because they know they're in the playoffs. Maybe they don't care anymore.
they, they need a little more gun control over there.
You know, the one guy with a gun is the one that can't shoot. Cracks me up every time.
through all that, through all that training, still can't hit the target.
John Moran's the equivalent of a starship trooper. He's not a stormtrooper. Excuse me. He's not hitting anything.
Those weren't the guns I was looking for.
Oh.
But in any case here, John says Andrew Wiggins is confirmed back in the Bay Area. He is back in the Bay, which is good, but he's been working out this entire time, but it doesn't match the NBA flow of what he's going through. Now, if he's at the YMCA 24-hour fitness, whatever he's got to his disposal, it's not the same as being on the court with these guys here. And so it's going to be tough for him to get time to get his legs back underneath him. And don't expect a lot from him when he comes back right away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice to have him as far as defensive presence. It'd be good, especially with him and GP on the floor together. They could really lock it down. Yeah. But as far as as far as the offense goes for him, that's going to take some time to develop, to get back into the flow of things. Because once he was getting into a flow after being sick, then he's gone for up until now, to be a part of it. So that offensive portion of the game is going to take some time. Defense never leaves a player. That's for sure. Yeah, it's just that offensive rhythm and getting into the flow of things. The Warriors have already been trying to match the lineup as it is. And then you want to try to incorporate Wiggins, who hasn't really played a whole bunch, into this offense. That's you really don't have the time for all of that there. But unfortunately, the Warriors are gonna have to go through it.
Yeah, and the other thing is he has to get his win. He has to get his stamina back. He has to get back in the game. I mean, so they need him back. If they can get him back next game, he's got 2 games under his belt going into the playoffs. I think that would be great. But we don't know, so we'll just have to wait and see, man.
Andrew Wiggins at 24-hour fitness is LeBron on the Heat.
Oh my God! Could you imagine? 6'7", almost 6'8", Andrew Wiggins shows up at your pickup game to get some shots in.
1-on-5. Hey man, I'm just here to get some shots up. Next thing you know, he's tossing everybody's shot into the weight room and everything.
I'm not trying to get dunked on.
Nobody likes to get dunked on in pickup games, dude. Like, there should be an unwritten rule in pickup basketball games. No one gets dunked on. It should never be allowed.
It's almost happened to me a couple times, man. You just got to turn and run. You got to turn and run. That's what you got to do. Get out of bounds.
Know who's on the court. If you see the fastest and biggest man just sprinting down the court, just know you should not be running with him because he's going to get in the air.
Absolutely, man. And so now we kind of have an idea of who the Warriors are a little bit. So the first question I have is 2 questions. One is, where do the Warriors finish when it's all said and done? What seed?
I think you're looking at the best outcome for them is the 4 seed.
You think obviously they can get the 4 seed?
They're only trailing the Suns by a game.
Dude, I don't know about
realistically.
That
you got. I mean, realistically, you're looking at a 4. There's a chance for a 4 seed.
Go ahead.
If they can go 3-1, the Suns don't have a real easy schedule to end it.
They don't.
So I would give a nod to the Warriors. This game and Sacramento are their toughest games, to say the least. So if they can pull these 2 wins out and go 3-1, at least, I'd say 4 seed. No, I don't think the Warriors get into the play-in tournament. I think this team is starting to become well-rounded. I don't even know why I'm saying it. But I see a 4th, 5th seed at most. I don't see them getting into that play-in tournament.
All right, so there you go. I think what's working for you is the fact that the Clippers have lost Paul George for the rest of the season. I think that's more helpful than the Phoenix Suns' remaining schedule.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is, Charles Barkley said it right. You can't keep calling him playoff P when he ain't win nothing.
Yeah.
can't go around calling just Charles Barkley championship Chuck, and he ain't won
Exactly.
nothing. So
And
I don't
as Laker fans know, a Clipper's gonna clip. So that's just who they
stop.
are, man. That's just who they are. So
That's a good one. I like that
final
one.
question: how far can they go?
God, man, this is such a loaded question because they're still missing one additional piece.
Well, with the team that's currently constructed, how far can they
With
go?
the team that's currently constructed, Western Conference Finals.
Western Conference Finals. All right.
You can't bypass championship DNA, especially when the three of them are on the court. Or I'll say four with Kevon Looney because he's been there for the majority of these runs here. They know how to get it done. If they could find a way to get it done on the road and handle home court, the sky's the limit for them. But, again, these next two road games are going to definitely determine it. I would say Western Conference Finals at best for this team here.
At best.
But then again, who knows?
All right.
Who knows?
So B's got high hopes, man. He's seeing his team get to the Western Conference Finals. What's up with the score today? Where are they right now? It's
right
tied.
now they went from having a 12-point lead to a 4-point lead,
right.
but it's starting to look like Warrior basketball, to say the least. The turnovers are still the turnovers, but that ball movement on offense there's no more standing around, which is good here.
All right. Well, let's
talk about your Lakers here. Glass House once again is injured. AD suffered another injury here.
He's fine.
They got a big win against the Wolves, and as crazy as that sounds, playoff team that they beat.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a big win for them. Here are your team's final games here, T. They beat Houston tonight, so we won't count that. They go to Utah. Mm-hmm. They have a home game against LA. I'm not even considering that a road game to play the same gym.
Right.
And then they get so basically they end the year against the Clippers, the Suns, and then again against the Jazz. So in all honesty, you have one legitimate threat to your season outside of your own team's, personal things. That's the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really see too much of a challenge there. So I'm going to ask you the same question here as you asked me. Let's start with the big one. Where do the Lakers finish?
So the Lakers will need to win out, and even if they lose that one game, that would mean that they went 3-1 over the last 4 games. I think they're going to finish in the 7th and possibly 6th seed, depending upon what happens with the Clippers. If they beat the Clippers, they very much have an opportunity to be in the 6th seed. So I think the Lakers will finish in the 6th seed. Now the only concern is hold
on, I gotta write that down, man. That was bold as hell just now.
It's not that bold, man. Have you seen the standings, bro? It's not that far apart.
Lakers in the 6th seed, dude. You guys are barely getting out of the plane tournament right now. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at the standings, let me bring it back up again. If you look at the standings, the 6th seed is the Los Angeles Clippers, who are basically tied with the Lakers at this point. The Clippers are 41-38. The Lakers are 40-38. There's no reason why they can't get the 6th seed. Okay. They're literally tied. So at this point, the only thing that they need, the most important thing they need to do is they need to handle business against Utah, and then beat the Clippers on Wednesday. Once they beat the Clippers on Wednesday, they have 2 games remaining with Phoenix and Utah. Again, if they can get that done, even if they drop one game, I still think they have a great opportunity to be in the 6th seed and avoid the play-in altogether. This team has been playing very well, man. When the starters are present and they're in the game, they've been able to beat the team that's in front of them, which is most important, especially considering what they look like prior to the trade deadline. But they are one of the best defensive teams in the league since the trade deadline. That's been the big thing. So from Rui Hachimura to Vanderbilt to Austin Reeves, Schroeder has been huge, but more importantly, Anthony Davis is looking like the best player in the West, bar none. He went down with the injury in the Timberwolves game, got back up after tweaking his ankle, finished the game with 21 more points, and then came back in the game tonight and put up another 30 spot. He's been the best player since the All-Star break. That's been consistent. And Braun's coming back, and to be honest with you, Braun looks pretty tired right now. He's not in game shape yet, and he hasn't really hit that next gear. But these next few games will get him there. And with those guys on the court, my only concern is that D'Angelo Russell went out of the game today with an injury. I don't even know what happened. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Hopefully it's nothing that keeps him out too long. We'll see how it goes. But I'm interested. I for sure think they have a great opportunity to finish in the 6th seed.
6th seed it is here. Couple Laker comments from Drunk. AD could blink too hard and fracture his eyes.
Hey, look, when he went down in the Timberwolves game, I thought for sure that he wasn't that oh man, AD's gone. But to his credit, he got up and finished the game and then played in the next game. So I think for sure that he's turned over a new leaf and is playing at a high level. So I really think that I think he's playing like he did in 2020, man. So.
And don't worry, Drunk. Your nice comment had us even scratching our head. LeBron wasn't even supposed to play this entire up until maybe the playoffs, and some magically healed foot. He's back on the floor now. So yeah, because that was going to be Drunk's bold prediction that LeBron would come back if the Lakers made the playoffs. Dude, he's already back.
He's already back.
Shockingly here. I think if the Lakers weren't in the 10, even in the play-in tournament, he wouldn't be back. No. But something must have magically happened.
Yeah, he quote unquote went to the LeBron James of foot doctors, and he's been playing the past 3 games. So having him back has been a huge plus. He had a triple-double today. So yeah, man, it was against the
because it doesn't count.
Yeah, Drunk. I'm not making this stuff up. With that starting core, Austin Reeves playing out of his mind, and some assistance from D'Angelo Russell and other players. They can continue to play defense the way they have. They can win their game. So I'm excited to see what they do.
So let's ask that final question. With all of that there said, T, how far can they go? Should they? I'll give you 2 scenarios here. Mm-hmm. If they make the play-in tournament or they don't have to deal with the play-in tournament, how far are they going?
So if they make the play-in tournament at the 6th seed, they will be matched up against Sacramento. That would mean they can get a first-round win. I think they can get past Sacramento, a team that doesn't play a ton of defense. Although Sacramento will be very excited to play us because Sacramento hates us. But I think this team in particular has really been playing at a high level defensively with AD backing folks up at the rim. Today Rui Hachimura went out and had 4 blocks. He did a great job playing against Big Cat. Big Cat turned into Big Snack. He was nothing. When AD turned it on, he really is the best player on the court, and it's kind of the player that most folks thought he would be. But that's how he's been playing. So if we can continue that, play defense, it's going to be tough for Sabonis. It's going to be tough for some of those other players on Sacramento to beat this team. So especially if you got Braun.
So how far are they going?
Huh? Oh yeah, they can win the West for sure. They have an opportunity to win the West. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Now that's only if they can keep it together and they can stay healthy. I mean, obviously those are the most important things. But yeah,
that is the boldest thing you have said all year.
Is it though? I mean, look at the West, man. Look at the West. Who's the team you're looking at going, this team is so much better than everybody else? Which one?
You're right. It is a toss-up in the West, but that team isn't constructed to win the West. But that's here and there.
Who's your matchup against AD?
That's not the point.
No, it's not, because I'm pretty sure when the Warriors play teams, it's who's matching up with Steph Curry, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but they have more shooters on the floor.
They do, but it's very important that you contain that one guy, is it not?
It's right.
Are the Warriors going to win a playoff series if Steph isn't playing well?
I still think they have a shot at it.
They're not winning a playoff series if he's not playing well. They're not. He literally carried them to the championship when they won last time. Literally.
Oh, 100%. That was
so my question is, if AD stays healthy and plays a lot, what is the other what team has the player that's going to defend him?
Denver.
Denver. So you're saying
Yeah,
Jokic?
I'm saying
You're
Jokic.
saying Jokic is going to defend him? Okay.
Yeah,
If
they
that
did. The
so
Lakers
so
use him as a five,
if
anyways.
if that's the only team I have to worry about, then that's good. Seriously. Like if that's the team that they end up playing, then they're playing in the Western Conference Championship.
I'll let you run with that one. I'm not going to
Just,
argue that one. Drunk Ghost question for y'all: is Austin Reeves better than Alex Caruso?
yes, he is
Yes.
because he's more versatile on offense. Caruso is a
Yes,
better
and
defender, but he's got more offensive game.
I would say so. Overall, I think Austin Reeves is a pretty good talent for them. So I'll run with that. Well, let's
Where do you even get this guy from? Seriously.
see. Y'all don't even know where you got him. It was definitely a draft pick. Warriors are down 3 now, going into the end of the third. Jesus Christ!
Don't get that
Um,
38th loss.
let's stop it. Let's talk. Let's talk national championship Monday. So tomorrow is the big game, and now the NCAA Final Four has the championship game we were all looking for as fans. First of all, both of our picks decided to
Take a
decided to
dump.
choke.
Man,
The second one, the U took a dump. They were probably
mine was the
typical
worst.
Miami,
Mine was the worst.
typical Miami University. They went out and partied.
You
I
got that
guarantee
right.
you, man. Anyways, UConn's offense
You
was pretty dominant to say
UConn
the least. Like they were.
UConn's always they got some NBA level offense on their team. I mean, the way they were playing, knocking down almost looked like what looked to be every open three that was available to them. I mean, they were playing at a whole nother level. They have what's that? They had two big guys. One of them looked like he was 8 feet tall. Who was in there snatching up all the
Oh,
boards.
yeah, dude, the most uncoordinated big man I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he plays in a sport right now where there's a lot of uncoordinated big guys down there. But yeah, that dude, I can't even pronounce his name. That dude is a beast, though. But obviously, the game of the day, the game of the Final Four was San Diego State and FAU. I had FAU, and all they had to do was just find a way to score a bucket. And, you know, for San Diego State, this was I wouldn't say a Hail Mary kind of thing, but you're not looking to have a skill at that point. You just got to get the ball in the hoop here. Now, we were talking a little earlier, and if you guys never seen the shot,
Lamont Butler, yeah.
Watch Butler's shot, and it's really reminiscent to Michael Jordan's baseline, or not baseline, but jump shot to win North Carolina the tournament there. It literally, the pose, the way he went
form,
up with it,
yeah,
the form and everything just looked like Michael Jordan. Now, I'm not, if before anyone freaks out, I'm not saying he's Michael Jordan, but that moment had. The moment had a Michael Jordan feel to it, so
yeah.
it was exciting, man. I was hoping to get FAU and root for the Owls so I could start hooing all over the place like whoo, whoo. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen here. But shout out to FAU, man. That was for a gym that only held like 5,000 people to play in front of 70+ thousand people. On the biggest stage to do what they did was pretty exciting, man. That was good for them.
Yeah, it was as close as a Cinderella run as we've seen in a while.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, now that we both have losers out of the semifinals, Taj, who are you picking to win the national?
I don't know, man. After seeing UConn play, it's kind of going to be kind of hard to pick against them. They were pretty.
Junk's going UConn.
They were pretty dominant in that game, and even when Florida played some scrappy defense and made a few scrappy plays to get back in it somewhat in the second half, they just took that thing and took the top right back off the basket and just obliterated them. So I'm going to go with UConn. I think UConn is going to beat San Diego State, and they will be champion again. How long has it been since they won?
It's not been removed too long, but they are 4-0 national championship games.
There you go.
So that's not a bad pick.
There you go.
I'm going with another underdog. I will take San Diego State University. Again, another small conference school that doesn't really get recognized, and they've won 14 before they got to the Final Four. They won 14 out of the 15 last games for San Diego State. So they are playing some really good basketball there. But I'm more looking at it as San Diego State has the coaching staff from basically when Chris Webber Jalen, Jalen Rose, yeah, the old Michigan team from the early '90s. That coaching
Yeah.
staff went over to San Diego State, and now I think it was Steve Smith who was the coach, and now his assistant coach is now the head coach at San Diego State there. So for the NCAA to take away Michigan's championships because of players getting money, and now look, there's NFIs or NILs, whatever you want to call it. The
Yeah.
college kids are
Yeah.
making money.
Right.
I think for them to get the national championship that they deserve, that is going to be earned, I think would be great here on top of that. So I'm gonna go San Diego State to win the national championship.
All right. A little bit of an upset like that. Both on opposite sides of the coin. All right. Well, let's move on to. Oh, you got some more? You got some more before I move on?
No, I got.
All right. Well, we're gonna flip the script, switch to the next sport, which is the MLB, which started its season earlier this week. So exciting. Baseballs, home runs, and strikeouts. And we'll start with strikeouts. So the Giants.
Go ahead.
The SF Giants get struck out not 10, not 12, not 30, but 41 times in 3 games. And they actually won in one of those games, though. So
yeah, believe it or not,
the guys are getting up there, and they are just what's happening? Are they going down swinging, or is this just a case of great pitching?
I don't know what to call it, really. How do you strike out 41 times in 3 games, man? Like, I couldn't put a mind to it, dude. So I was watching opening day at work.
Yeah.
And all you hear is swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then all of a sudden, it's like, see Giants players just walking off the field with their heads up. I'm like, oh, that's my team that I root for. It's just swinging and missing. 41 times, man. That's got to be a record somewhere. Like,
I don't know, man.
God, man. That'd be like you and I having no plate control and just going up there and swinging a wooden bat and hoping to make contact on one of those pitches. Yet they won one game. They won a very close game on Saturday, yet still find a way to strike out 41 times.
Yeah, but
damn.
They should have changed the name to In and Out, just like the burger joint, because that's what it was. It was in and out. You were in.
Here's the worst part.
You were in the batter box, and then, well, you were out.
What's happening it was good morning, good afternoon, good night. Go back to the dugout. Those were some of the things they were going through, man. I was like, good Lord, that someone just put a ball in play. Like, at least if you're gonna record an out, just think about it. There's 27 outs in a game. Times that by 3. Almost half of your outs were by strikeouts.
Let's make contact, guys.
Something. Bunt the damn ball, man. Who cares? Put your ego to the side. I'd rather bunt.
Maybe even start a fight.
You don't get a lot of fights in baseball no more. Like, it's not a whole lot of fun. Your man hit 2 home runs today. Who you picked?
Yes, he did. So Aaron Judge was out there, and he was making some noise. I watched his very first at bat actually, and what do you know? It was a home run. So Judge goes out and hits 2 home runs against the Giants, but this is a little bittersweet, B, in that, well, the guy could have been in a Giants uniform. And
yeah, instead we had to watch 9 players strike out 41 times over 3 days. And here's this guy hitting 2 home runs, Friday or Thursday and Sunday. Man, what the hell, dude? Like, you can't add more salt to the wound. You got to play against the guy who didn't sign with you, right? You've already had a bad offseason, and his first at bat, what does he do? He hits a 400-foot home run off of your ace. It's like, dude, come on, man. Show us some love.
Yeah, well, we already talked about the franchise, the Giants, and how some of the folks making decisions need to make some decisions quickly, or they may need to find another job. Let's jump into the A's. So let's jump into a situation that happened in the A's game where A's third baseman Anthony Rendon not very happy about.
It wasn't the A's.
Oh, I'm sorry, the
Anaheim.
The Angels. Excuse me.
Anaheim. Yep.
So it was an A's fan, who was causing the commotion and said some very terrible things to Rendon, and Rendon wasn't. He wasn't gonna take that. Actually, went up into the stands, grabbed the gentleman by the shirt, and asked him to repeat what he said. And of course, the gentleman denied it entirely. He got really scared, probably peed himself because he was drinking a lot of beer. And as pee trickled down his leg, Rendon reminded him of what he called him, which was the B word. And then...
Man, he called him a bitch. let's just put it like that, all right? All right? He had a lot of nerve to call a professional athlete a bitch.
Yeah.
Before we go forward, he did not go into the stands. He was in front.
Yes.
And snatch homeboy real quick. Dude, I've never seen somebody get snatched.
But his arm did go. His arm did go past the guardrail to go and get him.
Okay.
So let's give him that. It wasn't like he just somehow magically grabbed him in the field to play. He had to go and get that guy, and he got him. So that brings up some other things. One is the fan possibly filing some legal action against the player. But really what I would like to talk about is just this whole idea of attending a game and being able to say anything that you want to a player without any repercussion whatsoever. We've seen this happen a bunch of times. We saw it a lot in the NBA with the whole Russell Westbrook thing and people complaining or were people protesting meat or something? Some guy chained himself to a basketball hoop in Memphis.
Something like that.
Another person tried to...
You had Kyrie Irving kicking a fan out earlier this week.
Yep. So it's been some weird stuff happen. So, B, how do you feel about this?
Dude, players have absolute every right to protect themselves. Because if it's not a jersey and a hat or they're not in shorts and a jersey, whatever the case may be, you look at them as a regular human being. That's all I'm saying. The only reason why these guys are as popular as they are is because, one, they're signing big-ass contracts, but they're also on TV damn near 24/7.
Right.
That doesn't give a fan a right to sit there and run amok. Look, emotions are high. I get it. It was opening night. That's the last thing you want to do. I'm not walking across this section, and I'm not going to get called a bitch multiple times. But not only that, but I'm sure the guy was mouthing off to other teammates too. Just he ran into someone who wasn't going to take it.
Right.
And as athletes they should protect themselves. Why is it that a uniform means that they can't protect themselves?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they have to be able to stand up for themselves in that. My bigger thing is that the franchises need to do a better job on identifying these problems here, because this isn't a one-off thing.
Yeah. This
is a regular thing that's consistently happening with people who spend the money to go get it. Just because you spend $300 to sit that close to the field does give you no right to talk to a player like that.
Right.
That's what happens.
Yeah, and it's funny because we've had this conversation before on the show, and it is curious that there is sort of that line where fans feel like like you said, they pay for a ticket, they can't, they can say whatever they want. But at the end of the day, that's a grown man you're talking to, and the gentleman that got caught by his shirt, he was a grown man too. So if you're going to say things like that, you should be ready to back it up just like you would in any normal situation. And so I think that fans need to scale it back a bit because, one, it's not good for the game. There are kids there, and we've talked about this before, B. In a baseball game, people are there with their families, there are children there. We need to be able to be a little bit more exemplary, show more, be a better example for some of these I expect young guys, some young idiot teenagers or 20-somethings to maybe do something stupid. You had a few beers, whatever. But this guy, he looked like he was well into his 30s. And so I think people really need to do better, be better examples and show, be a good representative of your fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want everybody to think all A's fans are a bunch of idiots cursing out play. Nobody wants that. You know what I mean? It's okay for Draymond Green to be crazy on the court towards, when he's within the game. But he's not out there trying to drop kick, fans. You know what I mean? and let's point out the last time that fans tried to get on the court and actually fight, it didn't go very well. Do we remember the malice at the Palace? It didn't go very well at all. So
you had Steven Jackson just beating people up, man. It was
Jermaine
awesome.
O'Neal, Ron Artest, whoever they were taking people three at a time. So I don't think it's a good idea. I think we need to get it together. Fans need to get it together. Stop this madness. Stadiums, leagues need to start punishing players, or excuse me, punishing fans who are doing these showing this type of behavior. Because again, the players, we put such a tight grip on players to act a certain way, even in the NBA dress a certain way, even though they're dressing like I don't know what right now. But we need to maintain that.
We can talk about NBA fashion
Yeah,
another
it's
day.
like it's
Holy
ridiculous.
shnikes,
But I
man.
guess my point is yeah, we gotta hold folks to a higher standard. Hold them to a higher
Yeah.
standard, please.
Anna joins us with a couple of laughing emojis. I'm pretty sure we said something that cracked her up. JJ says A's don't have fans. Only on opening day
Yeah,
and the last game of the
they
year.
do, just not very
Is
many. That's all I'll say
yeah,
about that.
but I'm gonna use this term and it gets used a lot. You gonna fuck around and find out. And that A's fan came very close from finding out what it was because Anthony Rendon could have easily yanked that dude into the guardrail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he
Oh, he
snatched
could
him
have
up
beat.
really
He
good.
had him. He had him where at that point he was at his mercy because the guy was trying to
Yup.
pull back. There was nowhere for him to go. He could have just leaned back and pulled his face right into that guardrail real quick, and it would have been a bigger story than what it was.
Absolutely here. And the fact that they're looking into this as a battery charge
Yeah.
athlete, that's really extreme for a situation like this. Come on, man. There were no punches. Though he swiped at him. He didn't punch him.
Yeah.
He swiped at him he was trying to Rick James him, teach him a lesson here. But you know what I'm saying? But that's just the problem with the fans that go out to these sporting events is and I'm not saying all fans, but there are some fans in there who think that they've got the money to spend, that they can act a certain way. You cannot act a certain way to a player
Right.
because these guys are trained professionals no matter what you look at it. And yes, they will whoop your ass in a
Yeah,
heartbeat here.
they are athletes. Like this, it's not these aren't just
They are
this ain't just the YMCA or you and your cousin and your brother playing here. I mean, these guys are in the
built
gym.
off of protein, not Coors Light. There's a difference.
Oh
You
man.
know what? The best part about that video, his dad was like, "Let it go, let it go, Jeff. What I tell you about yelling at other players, let it go." It's like,
Yeah,
dude,
dude.
you know what? Let your son get his ass whooped.
His
If
dad
that's the
probably
case.
his dad had probably been waiting his entire life for that moment for his son. He was like, "Yep, I knew this was gonna happen. I keep trying to tell you."
I told you, you're going to keep fucking around and finding out.
And that
You just found out both. And congratulations, son. I bet you the dude's never been punched in his life, man.
I know.
It's like, dude.
Did you hear his voice? You could hear in his voice. He was like, "I don't want any of this."
He was like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And he goes, yeah, you did say it again.
Voice.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, now you want to be a tough guy. All of a sudden, now you don't.
Yeah, he reverted back to a toddler right away. Was it
Right?
me?
I wish he would have pissed himself. That'd
He
have been
probably
great.
did. He just didn't get the camera angle to see it. That's all.
Right. But again, you got a guy who's sticking up for his teammates because the guy was doing it literally to other people. He said it to Rendon, and Rendon said, I'm not having none of this. If worse comes to worse, during COVID when they cut like the first 5 rows out from like courtside and from the field, and then let fans sit behind, at some point you may have to start doing that because if fans can't behave themselves in that fashion where players have to retaliate in the way they have to, you're going to have to start, kind of distancing fans a little further from the field.
Right, exactly. I agree, man. I agree. I mean, it's just a dose of reality that this day and age really needs because the internet has spoiled our brains.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's see. So now there were some changes in ruling in baseball. Obviously, we talked about that. And one of them was, of course, the shot clock, as I keep calling it. And so
that's what it is.
Baseball games were cut down by an average of almost an hour. The hour less in time for a game from finish to end. So is that a good thing, B?
No. It's not. It's stupid.
Is there any feedback on viewership? I have to look it up to see, has the MLB come out and say, yeah, because of this more people are watching. Although it's a little too early to tell. I mean, they're probably gonna need a whole year.
Yeah, it's. I would say it's too early to tell. They do have the time that they could put out there saying that it is, a shorter game. But I just don't like it, man. Like pitchers are getting violations, so it's an automatic ball because they weren't set in
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
You know, batters are getting quick pitch because they got 8 seconds to throw the ball. Dude, it's a mess. I don't like it, but it is what it is. Here's the other rule I didn't know that took place. Pitcher can only throw back to the bag twice. So if there's a runner on first, he can only throw.
Okay.
He can only attempt to pick off move twice. After 2 times, he cannot do it again. So runners have to keep in mind that if there's two already pickoff attempts being done and they're unsuccessful,
He's
it's
just
a
gonna
free
go.
stolen bag.
Yeah, he's gonna run.
He's just gonna go.
Yeah.
You might as well just give him the bag at that point. You know what I'm saying? It takes all the mind thinking, all the fun right out of it there, dude. It's terrible.
I think at that point pitchers will probably try it one time, and if it doesn't work the first time, then forget it. Because after that second time, you're just giving up a base, like you said. Yeah,
absolutely.
Man.
So
what are the Warriors
these
doing,
rules
man?
are
Jesus Christ. Anyway,
choking.
Oh my God. But so very interesting rules, and we'll continue to monitor it as the season goes on, just to see how it is. We both are watching the Warriors game right now, and I warned B. I told him, do not get that 38th loss, because then that puts you in the muck with the rest of us civilians in the play-in tournament. And the Warriors got to get Steph Curry out on the floor ASAP. I don't know.
I know. Why is he not on the floor?
He hasn't been in the floor for the past few minutes, man. I don't know. I guess they thought Jordan Poole was going to carry him, but we all know how that goes.
Jordan Poole's going to carry. He's going to carry the ball out of bounds or kick it out of bounds.
And Clay's
Clay's
having a tough time competing against the longer wings that the Denver Nuggets have. So
all I'm saying is, and the other thing too is Michael Porter Jr. is damn near scoring 50 points a quarter right now. He had 14 in the second, 13 in the third. Dude, I don't know what it is, but the league's worst players decide to show up for one game, and that is against the Warriors here. So it just drives me nuts, man, that we can't get over this hump. But
Porter Jr.'s been trying to find himself like a 15-year-old.
Dude, he's been trying to find himself for the last 5 years in this league, man. Jesus.
Up and down, man. That guy is never a consistent player, even though they paid him already. But
well, let's before we cut out here, let's recap some bold ass predictions here. We'll start with Drunk here. Drunk says Kyrie to the Magic, and then also Mikal Bridges for MVP for 2024. I gotta note that.
That's just
not for
terrible. This
year, but for next year. That was great.
I see.
And then the other terrible prediction was by you, Lakers to win the West.
Okay. I said that's as far as they could go, and I said that they will finish in the sixth. They would finish in the sixth.
No,
seed.
I was getting to that they would finish sixth, and they would finish in the sixth seed.
JJ, I saw you in the chat, so I'm not sure if you were on earlier, but we were talking all things basketball, and of course all things Lakers. Lakers had a huge win today, crushed the Houston Rockets, which they should. And B really has this idea that the Warriors are just that much better. But I'm trying to tell him and warn him that they're not, and that they're in the same muck that we are. And if they're not careful, we will jump them. And they need to win games on the road. They have to win some road games.
Jordan Poole got a technical foul.
Oh boy,
dude! I swear beyond all belief, this is the last man who should not be receiving technical fouls. Dude, he has no room to talk, and you wonder why Draymond punched him. Look at that! Look at his body language right now, man. I don't condone teammate violence, but at a certain time, this is my favorite term today. Fucked around and found out who Draymond Green really was.
I just, the thing with Jordan is, man, he gets a little wonky. I saw him, he gets in the paint, starts flipping the ball out and dribbling all over the place, and he just looks out of sorts, man. I think they need to get Steph in the game ASAP, man. Otherwise,
he's in the game now.
There's only 3 minutes left, though. I don't understand why he would. I mean, is he okay? Is he hurt?
No, but
I mean,
Oh, good block.
they can make it happen. I mean,
I
the
mean,
Warriors have done more with less. That's for sure.
oh my God, I just can't even think about it. Who else? Someone just joined us. Nick, what's up, fam? Hope you're doing well, man. I told B yesterday we're gonna take the sixth spot for them. He did say that yesterday.
Yeah, man,
We were at dinner. He did say it.
it's right there. Because if the again, like I said, 38 losses. The Warriors drop to 38 losses. We have
There's nothing
we
more,
own the tiebreaker over you guys this season. So if we
dude.
both have the
The
same record,
entire West owns the tiebreaker over us. What you mean?
that's right. You didn't win any road games. You're right. You are
Yeah, what you
absolutely
mean?
right. I take it back. That
Um,
is not news, folks. That is not news.
Down 12 with 3:19 left, and here where the 3-point shots go up in arms. Oh, and one. Thank you very much. There we go. It's a start.
There you go.
But
101 to 110 looks like. So a 9-point game.
hopefully, I'll get to see you next week. I'll be in
Yeah, let me know.
Sacramento to watch the. I'll be in Sac to watch the Kings and the Warriors because I've never been to Golden One, and I'm trying to get a shirt that's made that says "Rings are better than beams." Um, so I'll throw a little jab at Sacramento.
Good luck, man. This is their
Dude,
first.
Did you see Sacramento's announcer, whoever was crying when they clinched a postseason
They
spot?
haven't
Like,
been to the
damn,
playoffs in 17 years, man.
that's no one's problem but their own, man. That's, you start crying.
Okay.
Like Patrick Beverly crying over a playing tournament win. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah,
man.
yeah. He was that was fun, right? Until it was over, and then he got traded from the Timberwolves.
And then just to get traded again to the Bulls.
Exactly. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that does it for us. We're gonna continue to watch this last 3 minutes of the Warriors game and see if the Warriors can somehow make some magic. Although Jamal Murray just knocked down a 2-point layup, 112 to 101. Denver up by 11. Steph Curry's back in the game and needs to start shooting right now. And he gets a lay. Oh, he gets rejected. Wow, what a block that was. So, well, folks, we'll watch this off cam so you don't have to watch our reactions to everything. We appreciate you guys being on the show. We will be picking up some of our coverage once we get into the NBA playoffs. Since both of our teams will more than likely be available, it's going to be a good time, especially if our teams happen to play each other in the play-in tournament, which I hope doesn't happen. But we're going to try to get in some shows after some playoff games to get some reactions from you guys. And you could really see some passionate talk from us as we throw explicitives back and forward surrounding these games.
Well, I know, right? Come on, help me out, man. People will make you think I got a bad mouth or something.
I know. I'm trying to keep it PG as much as I can.
Denver really trying to eat the clock right now with very minimum shooting. They're playing hot potato.
It's not working, though, because they're turning the ball over. But, well, folks, again, if you enjoy the show, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you know somebody that would enjoy the banner, let them know. Let them know where to find us. We appreciate it all. Drunk, send that email. Drunk, send that email. All right.
Yeah, we got those.
So
where you drunk.
All right, folks. Well, thanks again, and everyone have a wonderful Sunday evening. We are out. Peace.